looks around in the battle bus for beer. That's when he says, "Let's go to Tilted. You're counting first. I'll hide first. Or should we make it an easier place and go to Villain Base?" His teammate hasn't replied yet, so he goes to Tilted anyways. Then his teammate says, "I'm gay, what about you?" That's when he says, "Now I like a girl named Molly." Then he sees his friend looting Clock Tower. As he lands for the chest, he realizes that he hasn't changed his skin because he doesn't like the drift that much. Then he finds scoped assault rifle, express SMG, and a bolt action. Then he drinks slurp juices.
My friend already finds the golden SMG in the first chest he opens.
Then Alex is sitting and goes down into Clock Tower. Spencer saw his pickaxe for a quick second. He's looking. He shoots at the Clock Tower, seeing if his friend would say anything. Then his friend is at the bottom. Then he says, "I should open the door." Then he walks out. That was right above your head, actually. That's when he realized that he fell off the building like a retard.
Well, he should change teams anyways.
That's when he realized that he should have changed the teams. And then he says, "Count in Clock Tower before I crap on your face."
Friend decides to keep on moving. To look for a shotgun. He finds the star on the ground. He finds the shotgun, but he's not happy with what shotgun it is.
That's when his friend said that he's ready. "You can come find me."
That's his friend, but he does not care because he has found a better shotgun now. When it's still not the one you want. Because it is still the same one. Find the one you want, but it is only green. But then he decides to find his friend. Wondering where his friend is, because he placed the staircase there. He slowly walks back. Tries to destroy this spot of the roof.
"Get out of my room, Dad. I don't love you!"
Somehow Frank kills him and got headshotted.
Then he blew out. So now he goes count in the truck, waiting for his teammate to say he's ready.
Well, I have to lose first, says his friend.
That's when he thought he heard someone dying in the background. Wondering who it was, he still continued to loot. He's at full shield now. Closing his eyes on his brother's bed, he then realizes
He is gay.
Then he realizes that Molly will never like him. He still has his doubts up. That's when he realized that Molly wasn't real. And everything his parents told him was a lie. Then he wonders if his teammate is ready.
He's ready, even though he is not even really hiding.
Tell me when you're done hiding. Now come look for me.
I already did.
Alright, I'm coming then. He accidentally hits his pickaxe. Then he walks out of the truck, looking around. Throwing grenades at the pawn shop.
His friend finds another scar in a chest.
That's when he
He's looting.
So then he walks out of the pawn shop because he can't find his friend. He builds up back to the regular Tilted towers, hoping that Tilted will be destroyed one day. He can't get up his ramp, so he starts building up. Then he says, "Can you give me a hint?"
I'm right now, says his friend.
That's when he destroys a roof into a house. That's when he hears his dog scratching on the door. He opens the door, letting his dog in. Then he sits back down and wonders, why am I alive? That's when he realized that he asks that question to himself every day. He picks up a blue AR and some C4, accidentally picking up minis. He accidentally hurt himself like a retard. He looks around because he hears his friend shooting. That's when he sees his friend in a base. That's when he gets lasered and loses the match. So then he says, "Okay, I'm gonna go hide." His friend not caring, trying to shoot him with his diesel, missing his shots. Then he says, "Count up there, please."
His friend's thinking about shooting him. And he still does.
Alright, I'm ready.
Found you.
Where am I?
And that's the supply drop.
What? Then his dog barks for some reason. Where am I? He's hovering above the supply drop, not landing in it, using it as cover. Then he gets shot a few times, because his friend is a god. Then he gets shot again, raging like a potato. Then he hides behind a building, hoping that he can't be shot. He hides in a building, thinking that his friend will never find him. Then his friend builds over, creepily coming into the house.
His friend's confused where he went.
That's when he got. Looking for his friend, he then finds him. Going back into the building because he is scared. Then he finds his friend.
Dude, how?
He has 46 HP.
So many times in the air. Oh, you chug.
Yep. Spencer then brags about winning. He drinks his gift shield. Then he dances on his friend's dead body.
You're gay, Spencer.
No, I'm not. Alright, tell me when you're ready. Ow. Then he tries to sleep on his brother's bed. He then looks down at his stomach, realizing that he's a fat piece of crap that no one loves.
His friend says he is ready.
Then he calls for his dog. Abby! 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 Come here. He almost fell off the bed, calling for his dog, yelling Abby.
That is retarded.
Then his dog puts her butt in his face. Happy to see him.
His friend not caring because he is enjoying it. His friend found the best vending machine ever.
He starts petting his dog, humping her.
And
then he's
9 months later, they had a child.
Then he lands at the house. He flies over. And he flies over to a supply drop, almost dying from the fall, not caring. Alright.
His friend finds a golden eagle in excitement.
Then he pees himself. Then he tries to look for a good hiding spot. Thinking, and then thinking.
His friend's thinking about shooting his other friend down. But he decides he is not a dick. But then he says, but he misses.
Then he finds a good hiding spot, knowing that his teammate doesn't know about it. Screw you.
What?
24
my weapons are gold, by the way.
Then his friend builds a base. He then calls it the counting base.
Breathing very heavily into the mic.
Then he builds. Then he wonders, should I shoot my teammate?
And friend decides he doesn't care. And kills his friend.
Then he says, time for you to hide. Actually, let's change our spot and let's go to Shifty.
His friend questions why he wants to go to Shifty, but then he realizes that's where Deagles do not shine at all. His friend looking for a launch pad. Happy that he has bounce pads so he can do a weird stuff that might not even be a glitch.
That's when Spencer said, I have a camping spot here. That's why I came here. Then he finds a llama, destroying it happily. Then he finds horrible stuff that he wished he never found. But then is excited because he found actually some decent loot, but just is mad. He picks up some good stuff. Then he looks for some loot, waiting for his teammate, and then builds up to try to find some good loot. Almost puking when he said that. He then says that his puke tasted like
chocolate,
and pizza. He then purchases a bolt from a vending machine, picking it up.
That friend asked, is he ready? Because he is still making his way to shift the shack.
Yes. Wait, I thought you were gonna hide.
Oh, well, I let you hide.
Okay, well, I'm not ready.
I almost killed his friend. But then his friend said he was not ready. He sees the purple bolt that his friend was talking about. Look, he got this wood. Getting ready to drop the deagle, sadly.
Then he says, close your eyes. I'm trying to get into my spot.
His friend is just getting materials, so he does not look that way anyways. His friend is doing some drugs called shrooms.
Then he says that he is ready.
Got the cool screenshot.
You can come find me now.
Ready?
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you what I just took screenshot. Actually, it looks really cool.
Into the game. And his friends.
His friend retardedly shoots. He knows where he is because he built there.
What? Screw you. That's when he asks if he can hide again, because he has a pretty decent spot.
His friend replies no because he wants to take a turn.
Then he
sees the purple, realizing that he wasted his material.
That's when he says, you can have 2 turns in a row then.
Nope. I'm hiding.
I'm already in my spot though.
I found 2 purple bolts. We placed materials.
Come on, bro. Please, I'm in my spot. Come on.
Fine.
You'll never find me. Actually, come to the trucks. You know that truck that like has a chest in it? It's pretty close to where we bought our thing. What are you shooting? Go to that truck with the chest in the back of it.
What?
See it?
Yeah, I know. I heard you. You're around here. You're walking on something. His friend shoots a basketball, I think.
No! It was good though, right?
Yeah, I saw a pink pickaxe. If you didn't have the pink pickaxe, I probably would have missed it.
I wish I had a green one. Then his friend, looking for some good loot, sees a purple weapon. He then realizes that it's a mother truck and bolt action, but still finds some weapons around it. Then he says, you can go hide now. Then he throws C4. Going over to his dog that is sleeping, he starts cuddling with her, loving her up. He then realizes that she's dead. But then he feels her heart. Then he says, oh, she's breathing. The end. Just kidding.
Damn it. His friend is in his hiding spot.
So, are you ready?
Yes. Things the place out on the floor instead. Because I was...
Then he goes back to pick up his loot, saying that his friends should count there.
Okay. The climb back up though. Your other bolt's down here.
I don't need it. His friend, knowing where he would hide, gets into his spot. Then realizes that it's impossible to get into.
His friend is counting by looking up at the sky. Because he told his friend that I count where he hid. He stretches. Busted a nut. Oh, the back door is warm. This is nice. And Shred is falling asleep.
That's when he said that he was ready.
That's when his friend doesn't feel like grabbing his controller. But then he sits anyways and does it. Leans his back comfortably back against the wall. His friend gets stuck in the spot that he was counting. Breaking down the thing, hopefully, so he doesn't take fall damage. Hearing his friend being a retard right next to him. Confused, he jumps down.
Screw you!
His friend not dying this time, unlike he did yesterday at the lake.
That's when he said that we're switching spots and going.
No, his friend dies. It's his turn to change spots instead of him.
Where are we going then?
Factories.
Factories by Flush?
Yes.
That's when his friend saw a llama and a supply drop, so he goes for them. He destroys the llama, wondering what he will get. He gets 2 chug jugs.
Rubbing his penis with his hand.
Then his friend says that he is making a video right now.
Then his friend says he doesn't give a shit.
That's when he found a grenade launcher and some impulse grenades. He impulses grenades over to the factories, getting stuck in some trees on the way. He then realizes that he can just build up and fly over. He makes his landing spot, placing the one of the two launch pads that he has, flying into Flush, factories. He then starts to count. Just kidding. He then looks at the zombie's penis, saying that it looks pretty big, although it doesn't even look real. He then opens up a chest and finds another chug jug, drinking his big juice.
Realizing that he is gay.
Then he picks up a submachine gun. That's when he heard a shot go off. He thought for a second that God was here and gonna kill him, but then he looks for his friend. He builds up.
This is his friend building up.
He then is a retard. And Spencer shoots grenades. Accidentally kicking his TV almost down. He then picks it up.
If hopes he didn't break it, like his friend did 2 days ago. Or three now.
Then he puts it back in position, saying, "Screw you, no one loves you."
Oh! Hooray!
That's when his friend picks up all his loot. Then
he finds a golden sniper on the ground, excitedly now that his whole inventory is gold.
That's when his friend took fall damage, so he drank up. Wondering when his friend would be ready, he says, "What?
Nothing.
Did you find a frickin' something?"
Yes, I found a frickin' something.
What the heck did you find that is so cool?
Nothing.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm 100% sure.
That's when he accidentally blew himself up like a retard. Wondering where the heck his friend was, he then finds a house. That's when he found his friend. That's when he got heavy shotgunned like a big piece of crap. And then flies back down into factories.
Any damage as his PP is going back to being flat.
He just made me spill water. And he flies over to his spot that he already found out about. Then he says, "Ready." Throwing basketballs at his friend. That's when he accidentally started dancing, asking where his friend was. He then sees his friend building. He then moves around in his spot.
Oh wait, that's what I dropped.
What'd you think it was?
Thought it was another one of what I had. His friend falls to death.
Saying, "Wait, I accidentally fell from my spot."
Which means he was up here. Probably.
That's when he says that he's ready again.
His friend then realizes, where does he hide? Is it in factories? His friend thinks. He hears a goddamn ice cream truck outside, and he decides to want to commit suicide because he hates the songs that they play. He says goodbye to his friend just before he kills himself. Bye, Spencer.
Screw you.
His friend realizes where his friend is. Never mind. Still looking for his friend. Having no idea where he is. But he does!
Dang it! Did you see me?
Yes, I did.
I was in a tray. I was in a tray.
Was the one I shot?
No, it wasn't the one that you shot. It was one on the mountain, and then I fell into a different tree. But before that, I fell out of the tree and died. And then I went back into the tree, and then I fell down.
Nice fucking try, Spencer.
Then I went under the truck. I saw you destroy the tray, and then I saw you shooting your scar. Still wondering what his friend found. He opened some chests.
That's what it was. A golden scar.
Oh. So you almost peed yourself because of a scar?
Well, I didn't want the gold. First. I'm just really happy
Then
that
opening
I got
up
all
a
the things I
chest,
wanted.
he found an RPG. Picking it up, he then decides there's a bomb. This spell plays. Then he says, are you gonna hide in here?
Spencer's ready as he finds another scar that is golden.
Then he almost killed himself.
Spencer, look down.
Are you ready?
Yes, I said I was ready. He snipes at his friend.
I see where you are.
I don't. I'm gone. I'm gonna go hide. Bye. No!
I saw you. Then he says, screw you! No one loves you!
His friend rages once again. He takes damage because fucking building not decided to agree with him today. Or right now.
So he then opens a piece of dark chocolate. Realizing
starts to consume.
he likes it out.
Goes his friend because he is not hungry. But he is thirsty. Hoping to find a slurp juice, he does not. Still. That purple is disgusting in my inventory. His friend says. Then he realizes he must count. So he builds a little thing for him to count in.
That's what his friend said. That he's almost ready. His friend then stretching.
He just tries to close his eyes once again.
Then he says that he's ready.
God damn it, his friend says. Frank grows very silent, wondering if he is still there or if he is okay.
Then his friend says, let's change our spots.
Nope. His friend says.
I'm already at our spot.
Where?
The mountain with the house on it.
That's the spot? I don't even know where that is. Where is that?
It's over here.
Over here helps me because I can't see where you're pointing your marker. I still can't hear you shooting. To go to Flush Factory.
You want to go to Flush?
Yes.
For some reason, the chocolate is really mushy, so he squeezes it. Then he shuts it and puts it with his trash. Then he realizes that every piece is, for some reason, melted. That's when he realized that it was actually
gasped excitedly.
What'd you find?
Something. It is gold. His dream inventory. Every single scenario is here.
Bye, Jay. I have to go.
What?
I have to go to heaven.
You have to go to heaven?
Yep. His friend then wondering whose turn is it to hide.
It is mine.
Okay. Then he starts to count. Oh shoot.
His friend is ready to hide.
So his friend starts to look for him.
He hears him, but he does not see him. So he thinks he is still safe. you actually have to leave after this or no?
What?
Were you joking about having to like going to heaven? Was that like your joke or did you have to
It
go
was a joke.
somewhere? Okay. That's like I'm gonna be very bored.
That's when he looks for his friend. Finding where his friend
That's where
was.
he is so confident in his spot.
He then itches his nipple.
He goes to when friends go online to put a specific person there.
That's when he was looking.
People specific.
Gay boy
Spencer,
and F boy.
6 and fuck boy Devin.
Then
Here's
he
his friendship very far in the distance. Then he hears I think it's a minigun. Exploding stuff. Still. Going terribly at looking for his friend.
This game is stupid.
How'd you know all the metal at the roof?
No, I heard you walking.
I was crouching! What?
He then picks up a bunch of loot that is at the top, wondering what it's from.
I'm dying. He hears his friend at the top.
That's when he went down to pick up his loot spot, because he knows where to hide. He then forgets his spot, but then remembers.
I did not forget where my hiding spot was. I thought we'll up to it though. Hey, you dick, I hear you play C4s.
He then runs to the spot.
Then he asks his friend if he is ready.
Then he says that he is ready.
Well, his friend knows immediately where he is because he started throwing C4s there. He's around this area. Where? He thought he saw his friend, but he did not. Looking up, hearing a gunshot in the distance. He gets Spike, commentating himself. Slowly drinks. As he yawns. He knows where his friend is. His friend's head over the top.
What up?
What? Dude, both of those shots should connect. As Frank complains. As he yawns, he says, "Your turn to the
Shoot, I just picked up some of your stuff. Dropping all of his stuff. Then he starts playing with his wiener. He then tries to see if he can fly to the start, but then he realizes that it's in the storm. He still does not care.
His friend says he's gonna take a nap after this.
He then realizes that he can't make it, but still dies.
Somehow that equals a victory royale, only because of the storm.
Wait, you have 15 kills and I have 4?
Yes.
Then he says
sad for his friend.
goodbye to his friend. He then tricks his friend.
Oh, thank God, friend says. I strangles him.
Then he says,
Goodbye.
wait,
I'll
what?
be back in 20 minutes. That's a good idea.
Oh, wow.
We'll leave the party so we don't hear anything from the well. I'm disconnecting from the aggressive. Well. I'll be back in like 20 minutes.
Let me tell you guys a little bit something about myself. I like flying, I'm a shark, and I like eating fish and humans. So, basically, I'm part of the Chomp set. If you don't know my brother, his name is Chomp Jr., and he's a pickaxe. Okay, goodbye.